Tonight, the global travel disruption caused by the unprecedented shutdown of one of the world's busiest airports, London's Heathrow. Thousands of passengers left in limbo, with the impact likely to last several days. President Trump denying Elon Musk was going to get a top-secret briefing on China, what we are learning tonight, and the mysterious disappearance of 3 members of the same family who are on vacation at the Grand Canyon. First, the inferno erupting near Heathrow Airport, knocking out power and forcing a complete shutdown. Flights from across the globe diverted, some forced to turn around mid-flight. The eerie scenes at Europe's busiest airport, runways empty, passengers finding their way around in the dark, luggage in tow. Hundreds of thousands of travelers impacted. Investigators searching for the cause of the fire at an electrical substation. The latest on how long it could take to get back to normal. Elon Musk visits the Pentagon, meeting with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Amid a New York Times report, Musk was to receive a top-secret briefing on China. President Trump calling it fake news as he awards a much-needed contract to Boeing. What the White House says is behind the new fighter jet's name. Martha Raddatz standing by. A critical deadline in the legal standoff over 200 Venezuelan migrants deported to El Salvador. The fireworks in court. The judge frustrated, accusing the Trump administration of, quote, not being terribly cooperative. The mysterious disappearance of 3 members of the same family after a visit to the Grand Canyon. What authorities are saying tonight. Also tonight, the new cross-country storm sweeping east. Winds knocking a tree onto a school bus, injuring children. And the new threat of wind-driven wildfires. Sherry Papini, the mom who faked her own kidnapping, returns to court to battle for the custody of her children. What her husband said in court today. The nationwide measles outbreak grows with more cases than in all of last year. And America Strong tonight, the first round upset and the team manager who's become an internet sensation. Was it all in the socks?
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on a busy Friday night. I'm Mary Bruce in for David. We begin tonight with the inferno and chaos at one of the world's busiest airports and the ripple effects felt around the globe. London's Heathrow Airport shut down after a fire at a nearby electrical substation, affecting more than 1,300 flights in and out of the airport. About 120 flights in the air at the time, either forced to turn around or divert somewhere else. Firefighters surrounded by smoke as they doused the substation. At its peak, 100,000 customers in the area losing power. The airport closed, planes grounded. Roughly 665 flights were scheduled to take off today. Hundreds of thousands of passengers affected through tomorrow, many learning it could be days before they're able to leave. 24 hours after the flames broke out, Heathrow now getting the first planes back in the air, but disruptions expected to last for days. ABC's Marcus Moore leads us off from Heathrow Airport.
This massive fire tearing through an electrical substation miles outside London, plunging one of Europe's busiest airports into darkness.
Oh my God.
Heathrow Airport shut down Friday, disrupting nearly 1,300 flights.
Air Canada 856 Gander Center, good day. Just got a call. They got London Heathrow shut down.
You can see the moment pilots were forced to turn around mid-flight. Others rerouted to new airports.
There's no other airports in the UK that we can go to. We have to land you in Shannon in Ireland.
That's a biggie.
New video tonight showing the blaze rip through the facility that provides power to Heathrow Airport and tens of thousands of homes. At Heathrow today,
It's all dark here, mate.
terminals in the dark. Stranded passengers in Terminal 4 going down staircases with their luggage, using their phones to see. The runway at a standstill, no flights in or out.
It's just lots of confusion and we don't know, no one really knows what's going on.
Robin Autry, a professor in Connecticut, was supposed to fly back to New York.
Everything's just up in the air. It's pretty stressful. And I'm worried about how much is it going to cost me to fix this, because I don't know if it's going to be fixed for me. I think I'm going to have to pay a lot of money out of pocket.
Joshua Ritter's stranded too.
Yeah, an airport like that for that long, it's a little bit shocking.
Tonight, officials say they don't suspect foul play, but confirming to ABC News, the Counterterrorism Division is leading the investigation.
Short of anybody getting hurt, this is as big as it gets for our airport.
And Mary, officials here at Heathrow say the power has been restored to the airport and some operations have resumed, but it's not expected to be fully operational until tomorrow morning. But we've seen new activity here tonight, even some planes taking off. Still, the ripple effects of this are expected to be felt for several days. Mary.
Yeah, the impact of this likely to be felt through the weekend. Marcus, thank you. We move on now to President Trump defending Elon Musk's high-profile meeting at the Pentagon. The president denying reports the world's richest man was scheduled to meet with the Joint Chiefs of Staff for a briefing on the Pentagon's potential China war plan. Musk sitting down with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, but not the Joint Chiefs. The president insisting he doesn't want Musk briefed on war plans about China. Here's ABC's Chief Global Affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz.
Tonight, 2 U.S. officials confirming that a scheduled Pentagon meeting between Elon Musk and the Joint Chiefs was changed this morning after a bombshell report in the New York Times saying Musk's visit would include a top-secret briefing on potential war plans with China, which would be an extraordinary expansion beyond the tech billionaire's DOGE responsibilities, especially given his business connections to China. Instead, Musk's Pentagon visit turned into an office meeting with Defense Secretary Hegseth, which came after a furious post from Musk denying the top-secret meeting was ever in play. I look forward to the prosecutions of those at the Pentagon who are leaking maliciously false information to New York Times. They will be found. President Trump denying a top-secret meeting as well, saying he wouldn't want to show war plans to anyone.
I don't want to show it to anybody. You know, you're talking about a potential war with China.
Trump also addressing the potential conflict of interest such a briefing would pose for Musk.
I don't want to show that to anybody, but certainly you wouldn't show it to a businessman who is helping us so much. He's a great patriot. He's paying a big price for helping us cut costs.
Hegseth, for his part, said the conversation with Musk was focused on government efficiency.
We welcomed him today to the Pentagon to talk about DOGE, to talk about efficiencies, to talk about innovations. It was a great informal conversation. There was no secret plans. That's not what we were doing at the Pentagon.
But the Times not backing down on their report. Trump and Hegseth also announced today that Boeing won the $20 million contract for the Air Force's next-generation fighter jet, which will be called the F-47.
The generals picked a title, and it's a beautiful number, F-47.
Trump is, of course, the nation's 47th president. 1947 was also the year that the Air Force was established as a separate service. The Joint Chiefs did hold a 2-hour meeting this morning, the so-called tank, a secure room in the Pentagon, a meeting held without Elon Musk. Mary?
That meeting's still going on. Martha, thank you. Now to the tense showdown between President Trump and the federal judge demanding answers about those deportation flights, sending hundreds of Venezuelan migrants to El Salvador. The judge frustrated, accusing the government of, quote, not being terribly cooperative. ABC News pressing the president, asking if he believes he has the authority to deport people without having to show the evidence against them. Here's ABC's senior national correspondent, Terry Moran.
A tense courtroom showdown in Washington over the deportation of more than 200 Venezuelan migrants to a prison in El Salvador, many under a centuries-old wartime law that allows the government to deport people with little to no due process. Federal Judge James Boasberg grilled the Justice Department lawyer about why those flights with the Venezuelans on board weren't immediately turned back to the U.S. despite his explicit order from the bench last Saturday. The lawyer admitting, I understood your intent, that you meant that to be effective at that time, appearing to contradict the White House. And Judge Boasberg drilled down into how this deportation order was issued, asking why President Trump signed it behind closed doors and delayed making it public. Why is this proclamation essentially signed in the dark on Friday night or early Saturday morning, and then these people rushed on the planes? To me, the only reason to do that is if you know it's a problem and you want to get them out of the country before a suit is filed, the judge said. The rushed deportations, the judge suggested, prevented the men from challenging the allegation that they were even members of the Tren de Aragua gang, the target of Trump's order.
I don't know when it was signed because I didn't.